Yeah.
A little bit brief description about your character Pop in the film.
Well, he's a senior guy on the and who works in the firehouse, same firehouse that Bill Burr works in. And then, as we come to learn later in the film, he actually there was a time when he knew Pete's character's dad and ran with him, worked with him and partied with him. So he's kind of got the goods, um, and which is an important moment for Pete's character because his dad has been put on a pedestal all these years, but he wants to really know him. And Papa, has, sort of the key to like, hey, I know you've heard this, but he was also that. He had a wild side. He had his issues. Yeah, he was goofy, just like you. He had, but don't ever forget, who he was. Like he was heroic, and yeah, it's a tragedy what happened, but he deserved that life to have a family. And I'm sorry you didn't get to know him as well as you could have, but we need people like his dad.
Firefighters in general, briefly about your background and how important they are in the pandemic world we're living in today.
Absolutely. So right now, firefighters in New York, they're under a lot of stress. A lot of them are out on medical leave, so it cuts down on the manpower, and a lot of them are their stress level has been raised because they don't want to bring COVID back to their families. So a lot of them are either living out of their cars or trying to get some other situation, and it's just been very stressful. I've been working with an organization called Friends of Firefighters that that provides mental health services and other services to firefighters and their families. So it's available to them and their families because they're all going through this together. And so just to put that out there, if anybody wants to go to friendsoffirefighters.org and donate, it's a really worthy cause. But yeah, that's what, but firefighters, that's what they do. They don't complain about it, but you can tell that they're worried about it. So it's good for them to have an outlet to express their anxieties and their fears.
Really two heartfelt moments. Pete's character expressed how he didn't think firemen should have children. And
Yeah.
then your character expressed it again in the bar. Can you kind of combine those scenes together?
Well, yeah. So in the first scene where Papa meets Scott, he hears him going off about how like the firefighters, it's unfair that they have kids, and they shouldn't, and he just sort of takes it in, and then later in a much later scene in the bar where they're all joking around and drinking and telling stories and inappropriate stories, and Papa lets slip that he knew Pete's character's dad, and to be able to do that scene with Pete, knowing Pete's own story, and to tell him who his dad was, that yeah, he had issues. He was no angel, he like, and he was probably struggling with the same, some of the same issues that Pete's character is struggling with, maybe for different reasons, but he had problems, and that still didn't stop him from doing the job that he needed to do and that he did, and that's important. That's and that Pete's character needs to hear this. And so, like I said, it was a privilege for me to be able to play the character that gets to tell this to Pete's character, but ultimately to Pete.